other programs as well. Please, if you have any question, we're ready here to answer to you. Now, in today's workshop, what we try to do is, first of all, to explain two different things, okay? First of all, how important is innovation? How important is to make the program? All these things we're going to be discussing in detail. It's something different than European programs, and we are here to discuss in every detail you may need. It's very important nowadays because of the competition. It's very nice to have European programs, but because the competition is very high, you know, always to think in a new way, in an innovative way. And we're here in order to succeed. Three things. First of all, my colleague will explain to you in details exactly all these new ideas. Secondly, to see best practices. And thirdly, to answer all your questions. Before my colleague, Professor Markopoulos, will start, give me 1 minute, Mr.
Can you sit there and use the wireless?
Technician. Sorry, my mistake. Okay. Anyway, we shall arrange it. Before we start this session, please give us only 2 minutes. Professor Fotiadis will answer one of the questions that everybody raised to me during the coffee break regarding European programs. Thank you very much once more. And again, I'd like to repeat that by the end of this session, we are ready to make B2B business in order to discuss any collaboration you may need with us.
Collaboration with your company or regarding FP7 projects?
In the ANDgate, one of the things that we can collaborate is FP7. One of the things. Today, you see other aspects as well. Yesterday, I think you were here. Yes, I think the face. We discussed in detail about FP7 and other programs as well. So we do have a lot of experience from FP7 as well.
Just to take, I don't know, just what meant if I was in Tunisia for a conference, joint med conference, and
Can I interrupt you? Can you tell us all these things in 1 hour when we have this question? We have plenty of time to make questions and discussion, okay?
Right.
Just because we are a little bit late. So, please, Mr.
Yesterday you raised the question about the way that the funds are coming from the European Commission to, as you mentioned, train NGO. We're talking about the research program, the framework, which contains the 4 pillars, the collaboration, contains the ideas, the people, and the capacities. There you participate as individual organization. The European Commission requests from you a form which is called A2. And to tell you how the procedure is first, when you apply for a project and the project is approved, then the Commission invites the consortium to a negotiation. Negotiation means speaking directly with them. During the negotiation, there is a meeting with them where there are many questions. And during that negotiation, they are entering to the Egyptian system and to the other systems, and they are checking about the company. They are checking everything. If they have bank accounts, what they are doing about taxes, everything. So the company, if for the first time participates in the European project, goes through the very detailed, let's say, screening. So they know you, and when the project starts, okay, there is the agreement signed, the European Commission should start the project in 1 month after all the signatures are in this agreement. In 2 months from the beginning of the project, they should transfer the advance payment, as it's called, which corresponds to 45% of the funding for the project, to the coordinator. Then the coordinator is keeping a bank account, which is just for this project, and transfers the money to the organization directly, not to the Egyptian government. Okay, this should be made very clear. This is the agreement that you signed with them. It's not the Egyptian government. The Egyptian government has already signed an agreement in 2007 that you can participate as organizations, this is what it says, in European funded projects. Then the money comes directly to you. Now, going on through the project, you submit for the first year what is called C forms. The C forms explain to you through a system which is called NEF, okay, not NEF, okay, just NEF, okay, because NEF is the brand name, it's just NEF. Then you submitted your financial data for the first year, and then the European Commission checks those data, and then it gives you the first payment, and so on, up to 95% because they are keeping 9%, okay, let's say guarantee fund, 5% for a guarantee fund. Okay, so up to the end of the project, you should receive around 80% of the budget. There is a 15% remaining to end the project, okay, plus another 5% that is received when the project will close, and that will be the final. Now, if you have any concerns, let's say, from the Central Bank of Egypt, is if those money have been transferred in a legal way from the European Commission, and if they have any controls to do, they have to do in less than 15 days, less than a month. Otherwise, the agreement between Egypt and the European Commission does not hold. This is what they say. They should follow the rules of the European Commission on finance. It is clearly understood that there was a problem with some non-governmental organizations before. Okay. But this is because of the money that came through the Egyptian government, not directly from the European Commission. Directly from the European Commission means bank transfer from one account to the other. And the one account is the account of the coordinator, which is again a private owned account, is not the European Commission account, to an account, a bank account that belongs to the party, to the organization that is participating in one project. I would be happy to explain the mechanisms to you in the meetings that we can arrange today and tomorrow also. If you like, we'll be here the whole day. And really, we're very happy to have face-to-face communication with you. Okay, all those things seem somehow very complicated, but really the money transfer is the simplest thing that they have. If you are legal and you have all the documents, then you are receiving money.
Is it clear now?
Please elaborate what kind of nature has this coordinator?
What is the
Coordinator. You say that the money will go to a coordinator and to the NGO account.
Okay.
So what, can you give us an example about the coordinator?
Okay. Yesterday we explained very deeply that okay. And when you are submitting a proposal to the European Commission, you have to create a consortium. Consortium is a team, let's say, of partners from different countries. There is a leading partner, which is called coordinator, And this is the only person and the only partner who communicates to the European Commission. Nobody from the others can go directly to the European Commission about the project. The only person who has the right to communicate, of course, there are, unofficial ways to do that. Okay? But certainly, the official way is to go through the coordinator. So the coordinator is responsible for the project. There are no projects in the European Commission with a single partner. No way. There are projects that are coming to the Egyptian government, and the Egyptian government can make a call, but you have a single participant, but this is another.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Fotiadis. Let's hope everything is clear now. And I would like to ask Mr. Markopoulos, Professor Markopoulos, to start the second session. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, but we will do the presentation. Because if I'm in the front, we're blocking it's not a matter of disrespect, but it's a matter of convenience. We don't have the convenience like we had yesterday. Don't feel bad if you have many questions about the mechanisms. It took us years to understand them as well. So we don't expect you to understand it in one day, but please try to take advantage of the fact that we will be here on Tuesday also, and especially Dr. Podialis will be 10 hours close and too small.
Can you put the table?
People in the back, you can see here, because now it's smaller, the size of them.
لو ممكن ارتفاع فوق خالص يبقى كويس في الوضع
مش شايفين؟
يعني
ترفع لفوق خالص.
عالية كده.
Again, I apologize for being on the side, but if I would sit down for some slides. Yesterday we had the first workshop, which was primarily on the European funds from the FP7, from the NB. We also discussed some other means of funding, other banks from other organizations like the World Bank. But we focused on the European funds and the FP7 because Egypt has a special privilege and relationship with the European Union on research. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to make this known to you that there is this privileged relationship and that all of your organizations are eligible to participate in one program or the other, in one way or the other. So we had an extensive day and we dedicated all day on the European Union programs and funds. But today we want to discuss about some other, let's say, preconditions or post-conditions that you need to have in order to be successful. And we categorize these two areas in the management and in the innovation. Why? Because if you want to compete at that level and with those consortiums and with those partners and with those procedures, you need to have a different management structure and a management mentality. Otherwise, very soon you will be left behind. And being left behind you are pulling the consortium back. And that, believe me, it becomes a very big problem, especially regarding the consortium countries, I would say the Northern European ones, Scandinavians, which are very, very strict. It's not like Greek Italians or even French who can discuss it. Being late, I mean, they always bring out a yellow card, then a red card, and we have problems. So we wanted to spend half of the day to discuss about some new concepts on management, on technology, on new way of thinking, of human resources, that it will be good for you to understand these concepts, and we can help you restructure your organization toward this goal. That is half of the day. The other half of the day, we will talk about innovation. Because if you want to participate in these programs, you must be innovative. You must have something to say, something to add, something to contribute. They won't give you the funds for doing something which has been done, or to develop a product for your company, or to buy equipment for your company to support your needs. It doesn't work like this. I think that yesterday we spent a lot of time explaining the whole framework, but you need to have innovation. And innovation can be funded by many ways. One way is the European programs, but for those who have more aggressive and challenging ideas and don't want to wait to place them in one European program, and believe that your idea is valuable and can be, and would like to have it funded by other means, we will present those means. We will talk about technology scouting, technology brokerage, venture capitals, and other financing ways for innovation. So these are the two sections. So I'm saying this in order to now that we're all together because this merging of the workshops, it happened a week before, and I wanted you to be aware of what subjects are. We will start about talking about the technocratic strategy and development. And you will notice that we use the word technocratic. It's a new word because people think that the technocrat is the old manager. The manager that sees numbers and says, what are our profits, our revenues, plus 30%, plus 5, minus 5, okay, take these actions. I mean, it's the manager who runs by numbers. But it's not actually this concept that we wanted to give in this workshop. For us to try to interpret this technocratic definition and say, I have here some explanation, but of course you will have it in the handouts, it exists, and say that a technocrat is not the practitioners of the modern management, which managers are based on strictly numbers and isolated facts, events, metrics. The technocrat composed, it's a Greek word, composed from the word techni, which means the art, and the word krato, which means hold, is the one who holds the knowledge. So it's the person that knows well a specific subject at a specific time. Hence, the knowledge will be obsolete. If you are expert on something that is not state of the art, you don't have any knowledge anymore. Why? Because everybody else has the knowledge, so you're behind. So the technocrat is the person that knows, well, today in order to apply, manage, and maintain any type of knowledge, the use of proper information technology in an absolute and controlled way, it is essential. What we are trying to say, we are trying to say that the technocrat is not someone being carried away and fascinated by state-of-the-art ideas, best practices, and follow the international movement. But it is the one that says, okay, this is the trend, but am I ready to follow the trend? It is like fashion. If, let's say, one color comes up, yellow, we won't be everybody like canaries, like the birds. you have to know if you can follow that. It is like the same with technology. This iPad comes up. Everybody has to get an iPad? No. Why? Because if you don't really need it, you don't get it. Well, because if you get it, well, you will get it. Show off, or to present that you are smart or rich. This is not a technocratic approach. The technocrat is the one who analyzes his needs and says, this is the money I've got, or this is the people I have, and this is where, up to the point that I can go with. If you have a football team that can play up to one level, you cannot take this team and play on 2 levels up, because you will become ridiculous. I mean, you will lose from the first 10 minutes. You have to know where you are standing. You have to know, and this is the type of management that we want to help many organizations achieve. A technocratic management is not a management that is bureaucratic, afraid to make a step back, but also want to hold you back, not to make 10 steps back. Because making many steps back, and you cannot follow the people and the organization, your vision, then you will have a problem. And we're going to show you some diagrams here, which are very beautiful, that explain all these situations. So, our goal is to try to help the Egyptian organizations that have innovation and they have technology, and I don't say technology on ICT. You might have innovation in other areas of energy, on health, on transport. And yesterday we explained that the programs can fund almost all the business and market areas. That with the proper management, readjustment of your organization, with the proper management structure of your organization, you can be closer to the goal. Else you will be left behind. And it's a shame to have great ideas, to have great people, intelligent people, and not to be able to follow the rest because your management mentality or your management structure cannot follow up. Because you will notice, and I have some examples that in the European Union programs, a lot of sections are referred to the management methodology you have, the management bodies that you have, the organizational structure that you have. Professor Fotiadis yesterday, he presented a part B, an original, a full presentation, and I don't know if you remember, there were many areas like conflict resolution. How you will coordinate? Because remember, in a proposal you may collaborate with 10 other countries, 10 other organizations. So management is very essential, having the right people in the right places. So I will go these slides because I made the description, and I will say another new definition: technocratic enterprise engineering. What is technocratic enterprise engineering? See, we gave a totally new definition to the term technocrat. Before, we thought that technocrat is a fact and numbers-oriented manager, and I say no. It is a manager who can balance his vision and his capability. Technocratic enterprise engineering, it is a different, let's say, it's not officially disciplines, but it is a new area. It is how you develop new organizations with technocratic mentality. Either if you are a buyer or if you are a developer. If you are a buyer, let's say that you have a new company and someone tells you, do you have a CRM? And you will say, no. You don't have a CRM? Why? Because I don't think I need it. Yes, but every big organization has a CRM. Why don't you have one? So what you will do? Go, spend 300,000 euros, 200,000, $500,000, depending on the type of system that you will buy. Well, you could do the same work having an Excel. Why? Because you have 100 customers, few but good customers paying big invoices. You don't need to go by. So technocratic engineering is how do you develop your organization with this mentality, with the mentality and the vision to progress, but also with not being foolishly follow the trends. The trends are trends. We respect the trends because the trends came out of statistics, of analysis, but we have to know if we can follow them. We should aim towards following them, but we will not destroy our organization following the trends. I think that I made that clear. The diagrams I'm going to play, and the technocratic maturity concept is what I described right now, is how mature you are to identify where you are. Philosophical statement. Because you have to, in the ancient Greece, you should say, it is very important to know yourself. It's very difficult to know yourself because you have to admit where you are strong and where you are not strong. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of heart to say that, you know, I'm not good on this, and I'm not going to do it because I don't have the capability to do. So what I will do, I will improve my people, I will improve my software, I will improve my innovation, and when I'm ready, I will go for it. Otherwise, you blindly go and you get smashed. When you have an idea, you get in the proposal, you cannot run and you cannot collaborate. So you are being requested to change you from the proposal because you're holding back the progress. And that will be bad. Because having something like this is bad for your record and bad for your organization and your image. Now, of course, if you have the maturity, that's great. I mean, and yesterday when I explained to the spiral model of services, some of the services will help is that we offer is to help you identify your maturity, identify your capability level to participate in this new market, which is the European market. So the technocratic maturity is part of the technocratic enterprise engineering and technocratic definition. A new definition, it is our definition, not the definition you find in the books, but I believe that sometimes we have to make changes. Now, there are three principles which I like to know. The first one is if something is not written, it is not done. I mean, you have it on your slides. So try, the slides will be uploaded, Mrs. Fatima told me that either tonight or tomorrow morning, because they will have to be standardized with the format of the smart grid. Tomorrow morning they will be uploaded on the site. If you don't write it, it has not been done. It is very difficult to manage with words. Do this way. How I explain to you, I'm sorry I do not understand, and do it over again. Working with 10 countries, you cannot rely on your word. Of course, we're not lawyers, you know, you have to write everything so that it will be later turned against you, but you have to have a process that will help you document. The second is that if you cannot measure something, you cannot manage something. Why? Because if you want to manage, you need facts. And how do you make the facts if you don't write the events? You write the events, you analyze the events, you have the facts, you measure the facts. And the third one is if you disagree with any one of those, think again. Because you don't have a room to disagree. This is important. Again, the technocratic organizations are those which choose technology according to their capacity for applications and their actual needs. I buy what I can use, with a vision, of course. I'm not buying conservatively. And the technological organizations are those that follow technological trends, regardless if they really need that. But sometimes they think people make the mistake that a system will solve their problems. No, they should have the process first that the system will sit on. But if you buy a system and you don't have solve your problem in the process, in the paper, the system is not a lifesaver. Sometimes it will harm you more than help you. This I will pass because I will go directly to my beautiful diagrams. So in order to approach the technocratic enterprise engineering, you need to have 4 elements. There are discussions from people that we could have some more elements, I agree, but I'd like to keep it as simple as possible. First, you need to have people and technology. You cannot do, technology cannot substitute people. Okay. Those who say that I will have to buy this system and I will fire 10 people, it doesn't work like this. Or again, people cannot substitute technology. We cannot say that who needs the software. I mean, we're working hard. No. But sometimes we have very big, most of the times I would say, differences between the technology and the people, because these two are two different communities. These people think those people stupid because they don't understand, and these think those people that they are from the moon. They are on their own world. Run this program, kill this process, the terminology is very. So you need a model to balance, you need a method, a methodology, you need a framework, how you will bind the gap between the advancements of technology and the need for technology with the people who don't use the technology. Because remember again, if you have innovative ideas, you want to develop them, progress them, sell them, expand to new countries. If you have a bureaucratic mentality, you cannot do that. The idea will die. It's like a rose, and if you don't give it the proper environment, sooner or later it will fail. And of course, you need to have a production. I mean, people and technology is doing something. If you don't do nothing, then you don't need nothing of this. But above all, you need to have a vision. So, you have a vision, you have the technology and the people and the process to coordinate them, and of course, you have the production that is the base. I'm sorry for taking this a few bit more, but we'll try to cut the time from my other presentation. Now, if you are short on technology and say, I'm not going to buy, let's say, an application, an MS project application, then sooner or later, your vision will take off and fail. Now, the same thing would happen the other way around. If you are growing human resources and you say, I bought strong technology, I don't need the people. Again, it will fail because you won't have it. You need to have the balance. And that's one of the. Now, you might have a vision which is far, far from what your people and your infrastructure is. You think that you have a super company because it's yours and you love your company, but you don't know that the people cannot follow you. So this is another problem. You have everything in place, but your mind goes much beyond the reality. This is another problem. You have a lack of communication. These two elements don't collaborate together. This is even worse. You don't even have a process. You have the people, you have the technology, but you don't have a method that will coordinate the people and the technology and the vision. Now this is something else. This is the opposite way. You have everything, but you're far from the production. What does this mean? What you develop is not in the market need. I mean, you have done something superb, but you don't have a market. Because you have a market, but you have over-engineered products. Who will buy, for example, a washing machine that costs €1,000? Nobody. Maybe it's the best, but nobody will buy it. Well, maybe. Few. This is even worse. You have no production. You make a company, you say, okay, and we'll see what we will do. I have some connections, I'll do this, I'll do that, I will try. But you don't really have a production. You don't do nothing. Because we will ask you, what is your company doing? Not what is your company selling. What do you do? My son asked me many times, what do we sell? What do we build anything? Because besides the consulting, we develop our own tools. Now again, I'm coming back to the optimum structure that we need to have this in place. I will not say anything. I will pass to the presentation to Professor Fondiadis. We're talking a little bit about the process, which you've seen how important it is to exist. So I hope those diagrams were very helpful because I like them myself a lot.
Good morning to everybody. Today is a different day, because yesterday we explained something that is all of you say that I would like to participate in the project, but it's so much for me, it's something that I can do, it's money, it's everything. And today we have to go into the below stuff and see what is needed to sure it's up to a stage, to apply for a project for the European Commission. But basically, we have to see how we're managing things and how we're reaching innovation through our organizations, even if we're speaking about a public organization or a private organization. Professor Markopoulos started giving you an idea of the technocratic enterprise, and giving you an idea of how technocrats are, how technocratic engineering is operated today. We'll spend some time here in the processes, and then we will see the human aspect, let's say, of these organizations. Because today, when we're speaking about processes, and I'll explain what I mean, we're speaking about human-centric organizations. You know, this is the history, let's say, of building organizations. Going back 40 years ago, you can see that we were based mainly on hardware, but then, you know, ancillaries, producing something and so on, hardware. Then we went up to the era, years ago, where we had software. But then we were developing software, and we were using tools, software, to do our business. But today, you know, it's not anymore hardware or software. It's what is called knowledge, is the human thing. So it's human-centered. So somehow, for an organization, you have to define what you're doing and what manner you're doing that. And this is the internal organization of this organization. This is called actually process. And here we're talking about process engineering and not process management. Process management is a different issue. Actually, process engineer will develop the process. In process management, we execute and measure the efficiency of those processes. So we have two different things. Here we are today to build process, to develop process, to see how the tools can be applied for the internal processes. Especially for developing countries like Egypt, you will see that you are building an organization, it expands, it becomes bigger and bigger, and sometimes we don't have processes. We don't have the internal structure to operate our organization. Then we cannot reach to our goals. Process engineering, takes into the consideration the needs of an organization or a project. Our processes are needed either for the organization itself, but also for the project that is operated under the organization. This is the definition of what is a business process.
Just a quick question about process engineering. Is it really an engineering task, or is it administrative work at the end of the day?
It's an engineering task for me. But let's leave the question because we managed to have it there. We'll be happy to answer. Again, and you will see why we have very good examples to demonstrate why engineering is not just an administrative. Actually, we would like to see business process because we're talking about business process. Actually, it's a flow, a workflow, most of the times, of coordinated tasks triggered by a specific event in order to achieve a specific business goal. So we have the elements of the flow, of the specific event which triggers these tasks, and then we have the output, which is the goal. Of course, for all of us, and especially for the people being software engineers, it's very good to have a black box to give the input and get the output. But then, this is easy, but then this is how we are representing our flows, but it's not that. You have to create what is the box. You give the input and get the output. Of course, they are complex. Usually, they are more complex from what you see originally. Building a new organization and making a new product, you have to see very carefully what are the processes of the organization. Sometimes, if you go to an organization and see how it operates, let's say that you're going to a newspaper, and you like to build what is the process. You know, in order to produce an article, which can be uploaded to the newspaper, the traditional paper, or to the website of the newspaper, which is something else. There is a process. Usually what the people are doing, they're using a CMS, they're writing an article and it goes up to the newspaper. That's all. But where is the legal department? Where they will take the decision? Where is the administrative journalist, the top journalist who will take the political decision for the article and so on? So, I have to clarify here that each person and the system which is involved in the process has a unique perspective on how the data is viewed, stored, and processed. Then, the most processes, again, the modelers, come from a workflow diagram background. This is true, but we have to understand again the complexity and also that the process-centered development methodology, it's something that usually takes time. Especially for our mentality as Mediterranean people, we don't have the mentality of the process. We have the mentality of the workflow, but not following always the same way. We like always to go like that. It's not the way. But now, going to the life cycle of the process, I can see that there are several actions here, and I'm explaining what the actions are. First, I have to discover. Okay, and to see the business bottlenecks, and clarify, and to see how I can make the process. Then I have to model the process, making flow charts, organizational structure, and building the metrics. Then to design, providing the process models to actual flows, then to deploy the process that I have designed, to execute the processes, to interact with the people, by process execution, and then to monitor, let's say, the process. Because if you have a process, you have somehow to monitor if it's followed by the people. Because you have persons in each position, and those persons might be changing. Then you have to see if the process is followed. Okay, we have human-centered organizations, but above those, in order to control the humans, I have the process. Then I have to analyze, and then of course to optimize the process, because you know, as something goes on, it might be improved and so on. Here I have another view, which is very common to those that they know what is business and what is IT. Usually, I have a business view of our company, okay, and I'm speaking about process, strategy, objectives, people, customers, partners, procedures, guidelines, skills, performance, tasks, and all this. And then I have the technical people, okay, and they're speaking in different languages. Program, instructions, data interface, transactions, reuse, logic, specifications, object classes, methods, scalability, nothing in common. But both of them is required to operate an organization, a business. They are not speaking at all. So I have to fix the gap. Actually, for this part, I have to create a process model to address the strategic business goal. And from the other side, I have to build a process model to reflect the business applications. And the questions that we have in common is how can business applications match business objectives? How can business applications adapt to changes in business goals within the time and the budget context? Be careful. When you are preparing a large project, okay, and you have to participate in such projects with many partners, you have always your business view. Okay, you are the visionist, you are the owner of the company, probably the director of the organization. From the other side, you have this part which reflects the business application. You have a new project coming, this changes. And somehow you have to balance it, otherwise you are lost. Okay. So what I'm saying here, okay, go to European Union Funding project, but have in mind that you have always your business goal. Don't leave your business goal. Okay. From that, you have to gain, but you have to fix, to fill the gap between those two sides. Two other questions that I have to address to you, and this is question for discussion, it's not, let's say, to give political answers here. One is the maturity of a process. Okay, I'm an organization, I have developed the process, I have modeled the process, and actually what is maturity is when this process is close to be complete and capable of continuous improvement through quantitative measurement and feedback. That means that feedback, when the process runs, I get the feedback. I measure its efficiency. If I'm close to the goals that I have put, then the process is mature. So this is called process mature. From the other side, I have the process. Okay, it operates in the organization, but something changes. Then, in that case, I have what is called the agility. Okay, because somehow I have to have something that works and acts efficiently and effectively. And those two operations create what is called process mutation, because you don't have always the same process, but the process mutates. Do you know the word mutation? It's a very nice word, because it's a word that's used today. But I have mutations. Mutations are actually faults of the genes, somehow. But in genetics. Okay. And for the people that they're knowing a little bit about biology, DNA and RNA, okay, this is how it is produced. But here we don't have to change our DNA. Okay, because if our changing our DNA, then we're living our goals. But there are certain ways that we can follow the mutation phases, okay, of a process. For example, here I have a process for a software engineering project. For those who are software engineers, we know that we have certain phases. And this is the requirements, the analysis, the design, the implementation, the testing, the implementation, and the installation of the software. Of course, the model that we have used here is a cascade model. Okay, you can use more complex models, like spiral models and so on. But this is a very good example, very understandable to anybody. It applies also to large infrastructure projects. Okay, you can do the same. The requirements, the analysis, the design, the implementation, the testing, not documentation for large infrastructure projects, but then you are coming to installation, let's say. The same thing. This is, let's say, the stage, and actually I'm starting from the project here, where I'm defining the needs and the definition of the project. I'm doing the implementation estimation. I'm doing the plan here, and then at the implementation phase I have this, and then I have this phase of mutation of this process, where I have the project operation support and the process support and maintenance. So you see again that I have an operation which is called mutation for the project, and for that is smart village SVC-ANDgate, we have a certain methodology to see how we can engineer process. This process engineering is not management, as I said from the beginning. It's not administration tasks. This process is called, the framework is called Ariadne. Ariadne, you know, is a Greek word, okay? And we're using it for that. It's the Ariadne methodology that we're using. And actually, we're starting from the development of the information system, let's say, and then we finally end up to implement the corporate technocratic strategy. So all the steps in between are steps that are taken during the methodology. This is how I'm linking between the first part of this presentation that was made by Professor Markovsky and this presentation about processes. In the case that we have projects and we like to manage those projects, the Ariadne has a framework for the project management. And actually, here you can see that we have the different phases, let's say, of project implementation, the project management structure, the data management, the project assessment, we start from there, the project planning, and then we have other aspects like the project management implementation, the project license management, the project evaluation, based on the metrics that we have defined from the beginning, and actually this lets us coordinate many different projects. In the case that I have, let's say, the same framework, the Ariadne framework for the systems engineering, again, I'm starting from the analysis, the design, the validation, the implementation, the installation, the testing, documentation, etc., training, and so on. And actually, you can see here that I have always the loop between product assessment, process development, structure, and system requirements. This is something that finally might include the component about reusability and so on that's used mainly in the cases that we have software. You can see that this framework provides us with a lot of tools to do our work and really implement in real organizations and in real projects. Actually, another framework that we're using is the SVM framework, where we have, the assessment initiation process, and we're going through the phase flow and the stage flow to the documentation of current practices, the evaluation of current practices, the comments on documented current practices, the development of improvement point, the analysis and categorization for improvement point, again to the improvement plan proposal, the review of the proposed implementation plan, and then the documentation, and finally the dissemination of the final improvement plan and organization. But yet, because the organization is where we apply all those techniques and methodologies. Closing at this step, okay, I have to say that I started from something that moved from hardware to software in the human science organizations. But yet, I'm coming back here to the human resource management because this is another important aspect. Okay, before doing any other thing, okay, let's say that you are producing a nice prototype, you have a very innovative idea. Okay, you have to produce that to see what exactly is your business. You will see in the next transparencies that we have some diagrams where we show you what is your income for your company. Okay, because at the beginning, okay, you found company. Then the income goes down because you have to produce something. You are looking inside your organization, you are not looking outside. You have to create something. Then go out and you are looking for funds. Yesterday we looked for funds from the European Union, one way. Okay? For you might be something that you like to go there because it's image for your company, for organization, it's cooperation and so on. But there are different ways. At that step, and we'll go further to that, is where you have to bring technology, know-how to your product when you're going down and then it comes low. You have to bring technology because you have to develop something. Now, we explained that to do that, to operate your organization, you have to bring your processes. But the basic element of your process is the human things. And without those, you're not doing anything. We're living today in the era of knowledge. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not the era of having to know the stones and the stone costs more than a pencil. It's knowledge now. It's the era of knowledge. And this is what you have to compete, you have to make an organization competitive in the international frame. Professor Markopoulos will go to the human resources component and see some elements of that. Okay, and then. I would
like to thank very much Professor Papiadis for one presentation and the way that he linked one subject to the other, because again, today is a different day. Yesterday we saw you the European program, but to go there, you need some prerequisites. And the prerequisites is a technocratic way of thinking, a process. You need to have a process, and it was a great explanation and presentation. And if I was you, probably, what I would do, I would write down on a chart board some new terms: process engineering, process mutation, process agility that we're going to say later on, technocratic engineering. These are new words. I believe many of you, it's very new to you. But we're living on a new, the world is changing very much. And I will agree very 100% and more than that, if possible, that yes, it is those who got the knowledge are those who got the power. It is the knowledge that creates gives the competence. Because if you got the knowledge, then you can develop your innovation. You can sell your innovation. And in crisis, If you don't have any knowledge, then you will use the strong word that you are dead, because you don't stand on your own feet. So you have to do what? Utilize your brain power, people create, and then go out in the market. The people. That's it. And the smart village is very proud about the people and the intellectual capital that there is in the country. And of course, it should be. But if you don't properly manage the people with the right framework, you are not, you will lose this advantage. And this is, believe me, it is very easy to happen. It is very easy not to guide. It's like a football player. He's a talent. If you don't guide him correctly, he will always be a talent. The human resources, like I presented in the diagram, is one of the two critical columns of the technocratic enterprise engineering principle. There is no successful technological project or strategy that can be handled by the contractor or the IT department of the company. The incorporation of more users and the people involved is necessary. We need to have this bridging. There are different ways of doing project management and managing an initiative. Sometimes we can use what is called management by process. You have a process, and this process, you follow it, and everybody has a role in the process, and using this role, you are achieving your goals. The other one is management by voice. We have that in Greece, maybe you have it in Egypt. Do this, what? Do this. You get this. What? I forgot. Oh, no, I told you to do this. No, you didn't tell me. That's another management process. Sometimes it works, you know. Those who hear louder are probably the best managers. But I wouldn't recommend it very much, you know, especially when we are working outside our region, because, you know, we are very close to the Egyptians. We only have, you know, the Mediterranean Sea across. But do that with the Scandinavians, I don't think it works very much. They don't understand it. So, qualitative project management is where you go with the quality. For example, you have a specific qualitative targets, and once this target has been achieved, then we consider the work to be done. Qualitatively wise, not to do it, but to do it correctly, not to just to do it. The other way is to have quantitative. Quantitative is different than qualitative, because you have to do 10 items. If you do 10 checks, you're done. That doesn't mean, of course, that you did it correctly. So there is a different... the other one is based on project management. You just follow a Gantt. The other one is based on planning. You have a plan and you follow the plan, but you don't have qualitative and quantitative elements. The other one is tracking by the progress of the project, and you measure how much you have done, how much you are left behind. And the other one is engineering based, where you don't have very much time frames, but if what you develop is good, then you are on the right track. So depending on what your management model is, the different way you will approach your people. For example, in research, you could probably go by engineering project management because you need to develop innovation. And sometimes when you develop innovation, you have the funds. You don't really care to spend a little bit more or of the time. Of course, there's a time. Every project has a start, beginning, and end, but it's not a market. Now, we will see some organizational structures which I found were very interesting. Some organizations, they see that the technological department is under the financial director. Now, what is wrong with it? If the financial director is not an open-minded person, then innovation dies, because he will be asking for money from the financial director. And you know how accountants are, because that's why I call it. They say, how much it will cost me? If he doesn't understand what is the value, he will say no. And then you don't have the funds to support your loan. So this is, I would call it, a more bureaucratic the financial director is the Superman. After the president or the managing director is the financial director who runs the company. There's nothing wrong with that, but if the financial director does not have an open mind and technological mind to follow the trends, that's why in the 80s, many people combined engineering degrees and MBAs. It was very much in demand in the 80s. Now I don't know that much, but I think it was a very good combination. There you have another version, another diagram, that you have the technology or the innovative people to be in the same level. You don't use them as at the sub-level of one division, but you treat them equally. And this is very good, because everybody has equal power on the company. They have their own budget, they can hire their own people, they can do this. And this is my favorite. This is a technocratic management. Yes, you do have them in the same level, but some of on the board of directors, the innovation and the technology directors, they participate in the board of directors, because the board of directors, they take the decisions and the rest of the divisions execute it. And sometimes leaving the innovation and the technology out of the big decisions, for example, one decision is what will be our business plan for the next 5 years? What will be our development plan? If you don't consider the feedback of the technical and innovative divisions in this decision, then you will be doing more or less an accounting 5-year plan, trying to predict your sales and your expenses. But the innovative divisions and the technology divisions will be the ones that will be telling you, yes, but if we develop this technology and we try to open a new market with it, it changes very much. So if you're a technocratic management, you broaden your management board and you allow room at the top level decisions to have the innovative management as well. Those people participate. Because many people consider innovation as a cost center and not as a profit center. Because, doing innovative things, developing new products, doing some research, or developing prototypes that we believe that they will help the organization to maybe one step further, it is a waste of time or a waste of money. Probably, it could be, depending on the plan, depending on what you develop. If you develop, something to take it to the moon, maybe it's not the proper time. So it is very difficult. Why we present this? Because you will see that some of our services that we have that we offer with the Smart Village are to help you develop the proper organizational structure. See what you do, see how much you spend, see what your visions, see what your people can do, see what is the management board, the decision-making process, what's your 5-year plan, where do you want to be, and that reflects to the way that you manage your people. That reflects to the way you reshuffle the people, how you change the organizational structures in your organization. It's not only to have, remember the diagrams that I have shown you before? Your vision might be high, but your people might be short. Or not have the processes. Now, there are not many managing effectively and technocratically. The human resources is a very new concept. Up to the last 5-6 years, it was under the human resource management, which was based on basic principles, on skills, on expertise, but there have been those who, how many of you know the capability maturity model, the CMM? Yes. One, two, oh, more. That's good. So there has been another model, the PCMM, the People CMM. Of course, now it has been integrated into the CMMI, but I would like to see it separately. Because I always like, I am from the old tradition, I see them separate each one. Of course, now they have been integrated, but separately, it's easier to see which model, what is targeted for. And only the CMMI and the PCMM is the one that technocratically approaches the new concept of human resource management. And there are 5 levels for those who know the model. It is the basic, inconsistent management. The great teacher, Humphrey Watts, used to say that it's heroic teams and ad hoc processes. Okay, we got a good team, let's go do the project. Everybody works hard, but without the process, that's why the team and the process is very much aligned. And at the end, you get a good result. Because everybody is working, but they're working from different directions, not synchronized, not as a team. Now, under the team management, and now I will, you asked before if it's process engineering and engineering. I would like to tell you that the engineering has been expanded in so many disciplines. Do you know that we have requirements engineering as an engineering disciplines? Imagine, you know, what did you study? Electrical engineering. Okay. I study chemical engineering. You, civil engineering. You, software engineering. Okay. I'll take that because now you, requirements engineering or process engineering. Nobody would believe that it is an engineering. So there are many other...
It could be that logic or logical way of thinking.
Yes. The logical way is the concept of construction, of development. You start from something, you analyze, you design, you apply, you change. It follows the engineering sector. I like very much that you say you are from which organization?
I have my business small office.
So the lady in the back will see.
Yes, I'm working with the services center as a process improvement manager.
Okay.
This is my work.
Yes, yes. Because I've seen one here going on all the time like this. So I know that you follow this. So I will not go into this. This is not our scope, but you will see that at the initial level you have nothing. Everybody works. It's a little bit chaotic, but you know, okay, we'll get going through. On level 2, you have issues that you have to focus on staffing. How would you hire? How would you place people? Communication and coordination, work environment, which is very important. Performance management, how do you measure the performance? Compensation, salary. What is a salary? Salary is very complex. I mean, how do you define someone's salary? Everybody gets 1,000 euros. Why? Because it's the standard. It's very complex. But you have to know these areas, because if you don't know, then you will have disappointed personnel. Some people will say, why I pay less and someone gets more. So there will be issues like that. Then, if you go to up to a level, we're talking about participants. I'm not going to go through all of them, of course. This slide exists on you if you want to read it. CMMI, you will go through this on the people capability maturity model. You find a lot of literature on the internet. But participatory culture, how do I build a culture that everybody will participate and everybody will share the project? If I say that's not my business, it's his business or her business, then I don't have a participatory culture and I fail. So human resources, the way we see it technocratically is very different from the way that they used to see the old term technocratically. Numbers, figures, positions, job descriptions. It has gone further than that. Career development, competency development. How do you develop the competency of the people? If you see that someone is good on that, then what? Give him more. Send him to a seminar. Send him outside Egypt, maybe to a Microsoft seminar in, I don't know, UK, where the experts are. So we're going back, competency integration. How do you bring people who are competent together? Very difficult, because it's like football. I usually like football examples. If you have a football team with many stars, it's difficult to have a good team, because every football player wants one ball by himself, so you cannot. So this is very important, competency integration. Empower work groups. Mentoring, how do you teach people to teach others? And if you are at level 5, it is a continuous work of innovation, that you come up with new ideas, new human resource models, new practices to make everybody happy, to make everybody think ahead, think innovative, think technocratic, think process. So This is a very nice model, but time does not permit us but yes, we can help you develop your teams to be more, your human resources to be more technocratic oriented with the example that we gave, and to develop the proper environment that your team will be able to adopt the process, and adopting the process, they become more technocratic. Time is running out. I would only say that people must effectively utilize within the constraints of the other operation management decisions. This is called mutation. Mutation, I like very much the word, is that we don't stay static. We change, and then we become again who we were. We change temporarily, because the situation in a crisis, you don't have to change your whole process. You change part of it, just to bypass, and then you go back. Strategy constraints. It is information that you need to develop a strategy is what are the product strategies, the skills needed, the talents needed, the when, the schedule, when you will make each change, how you will coordinate the people, and what time frame. Not everybody starts at the same time. The location, you understood. The strategy layout, the positions, the processes, how you develop your strategy, who the individual differences, the levels of people, and the levels of expertise. And the processes is what Professor Fotiadis says, is how do you process of technology, processes of machinery, how do you use, if you we don't talk about software, we talk about also industry as well. So these are the basic constraints, and as we can help you identify those constraints, develop your strategy using the model that we have presented below. Standards. Effective manpower planning depends on knowledge of the labor required. To know what you want to build in order to know whom you will start with. You won't take a very strong person in your company to do something simple or to do the impossible for one person. Labor standards, accurate standards will help determine labor requirements. I will just go to this diagram, which is very interesting. This is the job expansion. You start from specialization to enlargement, to enrichment, empowerment. This is when you become a director and you motivate people. You move things up to the self-directed teams over the time. And this is the reliance of employees' contribution and the responsibility of an employee. Because specialized people do only one specific thing. You got them, they're doing this. When I was remembering in laboratories, we have specialists for database design. All the life they were doing this. But you have to, you like to do that, okay, stay there. But we would like the personnel to grow. So we can help how you can move from specialization to self-directed teams, and then you have new specialists that they could use this path to move up. I will not go through this because more or less we describe it. Human resources capacity, human resources planning, personnel policy and practice, human resource data, you need information, performance management, and training. Walter Deming, the 14th principle of total quality management, what was it? Train. It was saying 3 times the word training. It's very important to keep updated. What did you do? Someone made a mess.
Well trained.
I hope it's not perfect, you know. So we'll be, now the resource utilization, this is a very interesting diagram. This was developed by Professor Fotiadis, who explained to me yesterday that yes, we live into the knowledge economics. Those who get the knowledge, those who get the power. Think about it, like a teacher of mine was saying, you start from the industrial economics, then you're going to the networking. You know, what do you say? Connections make you, it's the difference. Those who have the connections are those who have the power. Before we say those who have the product are those who have the power. I sell a table, you don't have a table. So I sell, I have money. But then it doesn't, it's not enough. Then you need the network. You need to know 10 people who will buy it, because other people make the table. So how you will be ahead? Have the social engineering, another word for you, social engineering. And then it's the knowledge. Okay, because you have the network, but then you have to have the knowledge to combine the industry and the network in order to be innovative. Because then many people will have the network. What's the next step ahead? Innovation. I think I should start. And, oh, it's me again. How I want to earn time. That's very good. Okay, I will very briefly say that collaborating with big organizations, you need to have the processes, you need to have the people. In this mentality, you need to have another attitude of your company, an organization. I will very briefly go to this diagram and I will pass the rest. This diagram says that you have your organization, you have your processes, and you have your strategy. Or you have your strategy that has the processes and your organization within. And then you have management constraints. The management is bureaucratic. They don't want to do a lot of spendings. They are a little bit tough with the personnel because they cannot identify talents. Then you have technical constraints. You don't use the proper technology. You don't invest on technology. You don't have the proper support. Or operational constraints. You don't have the proper team. What we want to help you to do is to integrate them inside and come up with a new organizational strategy adjusted to the international constraints, to the organizational constraints. Why? Because you cannot use a model as is to all organizations. You have to adjust. You have to cut something from here, cut something from there, see where you are, where do you want to go. And this is the overview of what we are presenting today. You know, work around your processes, work around your people, and come up with something technocratic. These two slides, and I am done. This is to say that in the European Union projects, they expect you to present your organization, your implementation strategy, your organization implementation management strategy, science and technology implementation methodology, and associated work plan. This is what you have to write in the proposal. You have to write the project management implementation strategy. The project implementation strategy, not the management, and the project. The project implementation and proposition method, how do you break it down? The project progress implementation scheduling and estimations, requirements engineering and management, change and configuration management. These are part of a European Union proposal that you have to integrate in order to present to the European Union that you can control the project that you are entering. So now you see why we link this workshop with the one yesterday. Because wanting to go and submitting a proposal is one thing, but you need to have also the interest. And here, this is other management requirements that you have to put in a proposal. Project implementation bodies and coordination bodies, project management committees, project leadership management and workgroups, decision processes and conflict resolution, management of risk, management of resources and payment rules on performed work. These are other requirements. You have them on your slides. The European Union wants you to have an answer, to have a structure if you want to play with them. So it is important to change a little bit your organizational processes and way of operating if we want to go to play on the Champions League, because the projects that we presented yesterday is Champions League. So I stop here. I won't go there. I'm sure I took the time. Oh, that was my task.
This is the last part of the first part, the last section of this part. Naturally, I would like to link why we are here, why we are operating with smart village in order to promote and give you the gate of new technologies, innovation, the gate to a smart way. This is why we call it the smart way. Yesterday we presented to you the spiral. The spiral goes like that. We start from here and we go like that, we go like that, we go like that. We can squeeze, we can extend that. It's a basic tool for us. This spiral has another thing, that its length is not constant. Okay, so you can enter the spiral here, spiral there, 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 depending on the maturity, of your organization. So this is why we started today speaking about maturity to see where you like to enter this initiative, where you like to come and join this initiative. Yesterday, this blue box also was up here because we were talking only for that part and basically for a mature organization she has the processes, she has the management capabilities, she has the technology, she has the organization. Then come to the start point 5 year, pass through the professional training, or maybe not, because those are not required sometimes, and then to go to the EU grant utilization, to the proposal writing management, and then to global networking through the grants. And I am saying again that this yesterday was the blue box that we had. Another entrance point is here, start 6, where we have just the EU networking and we're going to global networking through that program. But usually the organizations are not mature to enter these upper levels. They have to go the full process in order to be more mature, in order to get innovation, to understand what is innovation, what level we do. So this initiative between Smart Village and SVC-ANDgate, as a Smart Village here, is provided through this file. So for example, we have a new company, okay, and then requires all the services. First of all, it requires an assessment of the strategy, the organizational strategy, and then the development of the strategy. So this point here is always assessment, this is development. This is assessment, this is development. This is assessment, this is development. And of course, on the other side, there's always the training. You have to have very good people trained. You have to have the people in the process assessed, and then you have to develop something. And we're speaking here about organizational strategy, the first. The second, organizational structure. The other, organizational processes. And those three are the points that we're discussing here. We left in the middle a very important component, which is the part B today component, which is related to the innovation. And the innovation is the other important one. This is organization, structure, strategy, structure, processes, organization. This is innovation. This is networking the European Union funds. Okay? And I'm saying again, you have to have that organization in order to go to innovation. Innovation, as you will see, is not just a simple idea. Okay, I have a very good idea, I can innovate, but really I cannot bring it that to a business model. That's the problem today. Okay? We have met this problem many times in our countries, in the, let's say, north part of the Mediterranean basin, where we have, ideas, we have everything, but finally, there are countries like Greece, Turkey, maybe some others that are not producing anything. Because the ideas remain ideas, either on a university or research level. They are producing many papers, they are very good scientists, but yet they don't have patents. They don't have ways on the other side to go from a patented paper to go to get money. But yet, because yesterday we saw you the way to go to the European Commission to get through the very difficult proposal, very tough writing, get some money to promote the organization to do something for the development. There are other ways to do that, and sometimes they are easier. So we're offering organizational strategy development, acquisition management for ICT, process models and ICT-oriented methodologies for process models, auditing on procedures, standards and methodologies, risk management, security, disaster recovery, and also professional training programs for ICT strategy and project management. As a part of our services of this initiative, we have to see that we develop specialized process models for the management of standards and procedures. This is one thing. Project management methodologies, which is another thing. I don't see that the project can be managed so easily. Internal assessment and inspection of the operational organization procedures. Internal assessment and inspection of the procedures, standards, and methods of the ICT department, if you can do that. Internal assessment inspections and the procedures, standards, and methods, okay, by other related departments to the ICT department. And of course, how we can support and change the procedural flows, the diagrams that we showed at the beginning, with the balance of the roof, okay, between the ICT department and all other departments in the organization. Again, procedures and current practice on requirements management, we have seen that it's very important. Standards and methods for the internal organization of the company, of the university, of the research center. Disaster recovery plans, as I said before, okay, security of the ICT department, which is very important to the applications that flows to the ICT department, okay, and also strategy of data operations and procedures within the organizations. These are some of the services that offered within this panel that I showed you, okay, and basically those services cover a broad, let's say, a broad area of service. On the other side, okay, because at the beginning of its service, we have the assessment and then the development. At the beginning, we have the training. Because we have to train people to understand what they should do. We have to build knowledge within the organization. This can be provided by professional training at your side, through the executive training, 1 day training, 2 days training, 3 days training, clustering training, and also this can be done either in conference halls and universities, in the client training premises, or in your premises. Some of the training that's provided is related to the principles of enterprise engineering, the organizational and technocratic maturity, the process assessment, the process engineering, the requirements management, the tender management, the project risk management, the contract and subcontract management, the human resource management, the metrics development, the quality management, the project implementation management methodologies, standards development, and so on. Here, when we're talking about this initiative that was presented in those 2 days, is to come together with you and to see what exactly we have to link between us. One of the things is that, and of course, for many of you, you came here because you like to participate in EU programs. Okay, this is one question. Okay, there are 3 main blocks. One are the organizational structure, the organization itself. The second is innovation that we're seeing a very interesting part of today, because we are facing innovation as technology brokers and technology scouters that we are for many years. And from the other side, we have to see the funding. Okay, organization, innovation, funding. Those are the 3 goals. Of course, here I have a very good example that I can provide to everybody from you, but I have only a few minutes to explain that, okay? Which is related, let's say, to nice strategy development and how we're doing that work for a bank, you know, because this is, let's say, set up by the central bank of every country, and if you're going to a bank, you have to create the strategy for the ICT department. Again, we're not speaking about the bureaucratic organizations, we're speaking about new, and actually, there are many reasons to have an ICT strategy for a banking organization. I don't know if you are coming from a bank, but it should be developed with involvement of the personnel, to be understood by anyone in the organization. And this is a very good example because you know how the banks are working. To have a common vision by anyone in the organization, to be served in the organization, to utilize the existing infrastructure and expertise, okay, to have the support in terms of technology, to have the infrastructure to support in terms of people, okay, to support in terms of procedures, to support in terms of methodologies, and also to be feasible and to have feasible and reasonable results. Okay. So if you go to a bank, okay, they say that I have to have an ICT strategy, and what I mean by that, okay, in a bank, it's the procedures of the process are straightforward. Okay. In the bank, you know that you are going there, you are giving the money to your client, and then they are passing the money in your account, so on. So you can say that pretty much all those processes are standards, but the ICT development, okay, the ICT strategy cannot be the same. When you have data, store the data, how the data are stored in what format, what interface do you have with the system, what do you see, how secure are the data, where is the disaster center. Okay. Let me finish one minute. Okay. And then you have more objectives and more, let's say, detailed objectives. Because you have operational risks, technological risks, human resources, because the people are not always. And also, you have priorities by the management, by the personnel, by the external experts that you use. And certainly you have many dependencies. So you have to create an ICT strategy. And of course, this is something that should be customizable, as I mentioned before. But before applying an ICT strategy, before designing it, you have to see peculiarities and to see how to do that. For us, we have the SASPA model that I showed you an example before. The initial is adjusted software process assessment methodology, which has been developed by our team here, especially by Professor Markopoulos. It actually, ASPAM provides certain tools and certain elements to do the implementation and to see how it applies. Okay. And then we have to justify what we are doing and to pass through different steps. The deliverables for such, let's say, operation, I gave you the problem, I gave you, let's say, a little bit of the technicalities approach, and then what we have as deliverables is the identification of the ICT strategy goals, steps and actions towards the strategy execution. The ICT strategy for existing infrastructure in terms of technology, procedures, and personnel. The majority of the personnel, this is the deliverable also, to understand this ICT strategy, to execute this ICT strategy from the personnel that we have in the bank, and also the comments that we are receiving from the people that we are working there, and also identification of the most critical ICT tasks that we have assigned to continue. Developing the improvement, the critical points towards executing the existing ICT strategy with more success, the proposed revisions on the ICT strategy, and also on the implementation methods. And for that, you can have, let's say, those are the deliverables that are described usually from us in 4 documents. This is a very good example because you are receiving the existing ICT strategy, okay, the majority of the organization to execute the existing ICT strategy, to see the priorities, the categorization and the implication of the execution steps, and then the implementation process. So for that, is a good example to see how we are approaching this organization at the first level. Of course, this is a very complex, let's say, procedure, because, let's say, in a period of 6 weeks, we're doing several steps. First of all, we assess and create an assessment team, and we organize the visits. The visits come to the organization. Someone should come to assess what we are doing, create the strategy. Then there is the documentation of the findings and suggestions, the comments from the organization which proposed with 34 analysis, and then presentation by us of the assessment results to the upper management and then execution by the other people, by the other persons in your organization. Certainly, this approach lets us what I started with, which is actually the spiral. And what we invite you is to come and meet and be parts of this spiral. With Smart Village, we create this spiral. Okay, you can enter at any of those points. Of course, a wrong entrance, this is a decision that belongs to you, might create problems, because if you come here and you say, okay, I would like to implement the European Union project without having, let's say, the structure to do that, then you're getting a lot of money. Okay? And then you You failed because the European Commission comes back to you and says, give me the money back. Because your organization failed, you forgot to declare this money as R&D money. Just a small thing. And making the bill, the final bill of the year for the organization, you forgot to write that those money are R&D. You forgot. And this is not illegal, but you forgot. You don't have the organizational structure to do that. I'm not saying to you that all the organizations and SMEs should create an R&D team. But let's say if you go to a purely engineering project and you declare as persons, not engineers, but people not well educated. Again, this is wrong. To create an R&D department is very welcome. How you can create that? What is the innovation that you are producing? Who is bringing you the innovation? Who is making the scouting? Those are the questions that will be answered in the second part. But from the other side, R&D department creation is a part of this first thing, which is the structural development of the organization. And also, if you have an R&D department, then you have to have, for example, the processes to merge, to make the gap smaller between the business goals and the R&D department. This is about the services part. Really, we invite you to discuss with us all those things and to see where you can fit in this spiral.
Thank you all of you for listening. We have just finished the first session of the workshop 2. We finished about the technocratic engineering approach. We have only a few minutes for questions. Of course, during the break, we shall have plenty of time to discuss, and of course, by the end, we shall have B2B business discussion. Is there any question? Before the question, please, you have to read by heart this paragraph, okay? Otherwise, no question.
I think that
Well, sorry, I wasn't here yesterday, so I don't understand what that is spiral.
Is it okay now?
But I have, not really, but I don't have full
Okay,
understanding.
we come back and
but I
have
have
the second session.
some questions related to FP7 and participation.
We better do
Because
it
I'm
over
in
break.
midway in submitting a proposal for one of the projects. So,
Okay, we shall discuss that.
yeah.
Well, I have a series of 4 questions. 1 to Dr. Fokiadis, and 3 to Dr. Matopoulos.
Okay, okay.
No coffee.
I'll start
No
with the question to Dr. Fokiadis. You have shown us a slide about the professional training. And I was expecting to see the training and innovation management. I don't know why it's not mentioned there.
But because it's the next part.
It's after the
Part, the second part
But
after
it's
the
on
break
the-
is only
On the
innovation.
menu.
Only innovation.
Only innovation.
Yeah, but it's one of the services that you can, you can deliver as a training.
Most important.
Okay, thank you.
But I have to tell you something. Innovation is on the training on innovation is something that is a small part, let's say, of the whole innovation procedure. Mostly there you can concentrate on brokerage and scouting of innovation.
We shall discuss that later on. Over.
My question to Dr. Matopoulos, if you please can bring the slide of the technocratic management structure.
Not the one with the pyramid, the one.
Go down.
This one?
Can you enlarge this? I think this is this one, yeah. The one you think.
Yes.
You said innovation and ICT and R&D in one block ICT development. I'm coming from the culture that I think R&D should be a department alone. And then innovation, it's a culture within the organization, because innovation can be in the supply chain management, can be in financing. So it should not be linked only to the ICT.
Of course, yes, I agree
This
with
is
you.
my comment, second comment. Then on the strategy constraints, you have shown us a visual diagram for the strategy constraints. Can you bring it? It was by the end of the presentation. Yes.
The reason that I did not put the rest of it is because I did not want to make the diagram very big. The concept is because I will link innovation with technology, because
This one.
even if it is supply chain, it is technology that makes it innovative.
Well, I think there's something missing here, the seventh point, it's the why. And when you look at the business relation development, what triggers a customer is a why, not the why.
Why is the process?
Why? It's not only the process, but why the reason of my existence. What I'm presenting to my customer. It has to be in the culture from the beginning.
Wait and see. We have all the why answers.
Okay, so it's coming next.
That's fine.
Okay. The last one, it's the job continuum.
Oh, the job continuing.
The job continuum diagram.
This one.
Okay, so continue.
No, not this one.
Step to
This one, exactly. Well, here, the job continuum cannot exist without the customer.
Without?
The customer. Your job, the reason and the existence of your job is your customer.
The job is your customer.
Your customer, the customer of the organization.
The customer.
The customer of the organization. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes. yes.
And
The
the
client.
development of the job, the relation with the customer, and building the trust to become a partnership relation has to be in the culture of organization. So the team has to look at that. It's not only an expansion of job or relying on his contribution, but how he contributes to the development of the partnership relation.
This has many.
It's a bit dissolved.
No, this is a cube. Depends on which side you see. If you are a customer-driven, customer-oriented organization, yes, of course, and you have some key customers, let's say that you are working in the banking sector, in the service sector, then you should focus and you should develop customer-oriented job development. But if you are on the innovative part, you should be more on the innovation. So you kind of leave the customer behind, because there are three ways, according to the three management schools of Deming, Duran, and of Crosby, how do you develop? You develop customer-based. Walter Deming was saying the customer is always right. So we do what the customer says. But Duran was saying zero defects. I want to have systems and products that will be perfect. What he did, he kind of ignored the customer, because he says, I want to develop, let's say, for example, a Mercedes-Benz, it is a car that is not being needed by the need of the customer, because the customer wants something good and cheap. Unfortunately, that car is good and not very cheap. So it depends what is your strategy, and this is the way you develop the job continuums. Following the customer is respectful, but sometimes if we follow the customer too much, then we are getting into a loop, and we are serving the customers and we don't get innovative. So this diagram, it would be like a 3D diagram with the impacts of yeah. But in a way, yes, I agree.
First, I have two questions about the management methods discussed. Are they really that separate? You said
No,
plan,
they are
quality. I think that you are going with a plan. You have to see the feedback. If something goes wrong,
Yes.
you have to.
They are interrelated. We could have presented another diagram that shows the relationship between the sectors. They're not isolated.
My second
And
question.
I can say, if you are interested, I can send you that diagram. You can write this.
Slide with the board of directors.
Mhm.
If this really I am director of ICT and other finance, how can all of us collaborate to make the same goal? How can I share this? I think that this may make confusion and set back the company. If people taking one decision, I think maybe a self-trip or someone person, CEO.
This is a part of the problem, as we see in the pyramid diagram that we have shown with the vision. Of course, it is difficult for everybody to agree, but sooner or later you have to agree. So it's good to be sooner than later. So this is.
So it can be at a startup. Is it more effective to make this kind of management?
This is more organizational culture. If you are accounting driven, incomes, outcomes, expenses, profits, then it's very difficult to embrace the innovative, the technology, the state of the art. Because, as I said again, you think them as cost centers and not profit centers. So if you start your organization from the beginning, it will be good to have a better structure. So you can say that, of course, remember the diagram, the IT, the people, the process, you need all three to have a vision. If you leave one of them outside your thinking, then your vision will fail. But in organizations that have been established, and many of you are established organizations, it's never late to start reconsidering and changing some things. Of course, we will not change the management board, but if we collaborate, we can start making experiments of new models of decision-making in top management, and try to bring them closer to the fact that investing on innovation is investing in their future. And at the end of the workshop, I am going to tell you a very nice story to see what I mean.
I think, first of all, about the latest process of engineering. I haven't heard anything from, I heard about the process of outside in rather than in outside. Outside in, I think, it's the same concept of taking the customers, and then from there you build all your processes and so on. So, in order to set that customer, which is very advanced, more advanced than Sigma and Lean Sigma and all the rest. Have you heard about that?
Outside in,
yes.
or
It
in
was adopted by Apple and so on. So, and many other organizations. And then the balance scorecard.
The balance scorecard. We have the balance scorecard, we have the balance IT scorecard developed at Software Engineering Institute in Bilbao. How do you measure the effectiveness of the IT in the scorecard areas? There have been many models like that. So what we are saying is not actually, I won't say it's something new, but something rephrased. Because the in-out, the out-in, it was the Deming principles for many, many years. But our goal is to focus on the in-out, how you develop the innovation and you go into the markets. Because I am afraid that if you follow the markets and you follow the customers, not the market, the in-out is following the markets. The out-in is following the customers to move on.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, of course.
Innovation is not only from in to out. I see
Yes,
innovation on 3 levels. The first level, yes, it's what do I have and how can I improve? But I'm relying on suppliers, on the supply chain.
Of course.
So how can I help my supply chain to become more innovative, to supply me on my inputs with innovative ideas?
Certainly.
And then there's my customers on the other side of the supply chain. So what my customer wants. So
Yes.
he's bringing innovative ideas, how I'm going to implement them and cascade them on my supply chain.
Please.
So it's a whole continuum.
Do not think that we ignore the customers and we ignore the market. Certainly not. But we are trying to say not to get trapped on serving the customer. Okay? This is the concept. We should not get trapped of what the customer wants is what our business is. That is not. Of course, it is. That's why that is the sales. That is the production. But innovation is what the customer wants, what is our needs, but can we make it better to go to more customers, to go to new customers? This is the difference. The customer is the customer is the one who pays our salaries, our bills, our existence, and is a very respectful part of the business. But we should not be focused on how we can serve the customer better, because the customer is the customer, because maybe the customer will not appreciate our innovation if we are innovating on them. So this is not an easy question. It has broader meanings. Would you like to add?
Actually,
Yes, yes,
just
yes.
wait.
Just wait. You are running on the next session, and we won't have a coffee. You know.
Because you can see the voice of the customer exists there. Exists also the internal, the operations, the employees, the staff, and then just wait.
Have you seen our presentation?
Probably.
But I'm reading your mind.
Next one step at a time. Yes.
Okay, shall we have a coffee?
Yes, we'll have a coffee
The
break now.
next one will be very interesting to you and to you.
One thing before you go, those of you who requested meetings with Dr. Metropolis and his colleagues, please check with registration for the timing of your meetings. Okay?
نتائج مشاركة إيجابي.
Now is
مهندس مجدي بيه.
now for today is 2 months.
هو عايز ياخد معانا
No, prepare